Hi Sujit sir, I welcome you for this interview. First, I would like to introduce you, then we'll have our discussion on your journey. So, for benefit of
Definitely, sir.
viewers, uh, just a minute, let me share the screen. Yes. So, this is Dr. Sujit Chandratreya. He has done his MD medicine and he has done his DM and DNB in endocrinology and metabolism. Oh, he is a leading practitioner in Nasik. Sorry, Nagpur is my hometown. So he's leading practitioner in Nasik, and he was first endocrinologist in North Maharashtra. So he had multiple distinctions in MBBS curriculum. He had first rank in DG Paranjape gold medal and DG Paranjape gold medal in University for MD medicine. So he was gold medalist in MD medicine. He had first rank in Mumbai University in DM endocrinology also. He had first rank in DNB endocrinology all over India also. He is winner of AV Gandhi Gold Medal and award worth 1 lakh rupees for best research paper in India. He was a winner of Hargobind Scholarship for studies abroad, and he has multiple publications in peer-reviewed journals. So far, he has been excellent in academics and never had any gold medal. But fortunately, I have three publications in peer-reviewed journals, and he has multiple presentations in academic meetings and conferences also. He is principal investigator in multiple prestigious multinational clinical research trials as well, and presently he is practicing in Nashik with 80,000 patients database. So if I am not wrong, Nashik population is around 25 lakhs and he has 3% population as his patients. So he has big clinical practice and huge academic uh, accolades. I welcome you, Sujit sir. Thanks for joining this meeting. It's
Thanks a lot for a very kind introduction, sir. It's really privileged to be here, sir, with you.
there were so many gold medals. I couldn't count also. So first we'll start with your medical journey and professional life. Could you share a bit about your medical background and why you chose endocrinology as your specialty?
I'm the first generation doctor in an entire family. There is nobody else actually in medical field in our family. Our my father, my grandfather, they're typical government officers, and the whole purpose of the education used to be get a good job and finally get secured. So me and my brother both are actually doctors. We both went to BJ Medical College. My brother is a radiologist, and I did my MD medicine. While doing MD medicine itself, I was actually fascinated by the growing field of endocrinology, and I decided that if I get a specialization, super specialization, I would go for endocrinology. That time the trending branches were cardiology, gastrology, nephrology, but I wanted to do something different that time. I took my degree in 2003. That time endocrine was not that famous, but of course now it is becoming most sought after branch after the DM entrance exam. So in general, first generation doctor per se, I had no idea how the practices are. I had no idea how to run a hospital or a clinic. In general, I was just fascinated by medical field, and just I entered whatever I liked. That's what I did, really speaking. There was no calculation or no thinking before I took the profession. It was only the liking and maybe the aptitude for that.
Yeah, that is superb, sir. That is superb. So first generation medical practitioner and you have 3% population under you right now. That's a great achievement. So, what has your clinical journey in Nashik been like over the years?
Right. After I did my DM, I passed out in 2003. It was a 3-year course from 2000 to 2003. Before I was in Pune, I did my MBBS and MD in BJ Medical College, Sasun Hospital. And it was a fantastic institution. But once you enter Mumbai, it becomes a different kind of a perspective, actually. So I got exposed to many world-class people, some Nobel laureates in KEM Hospital, ZGS Medical College. After my DM, I did some time in Mumbai. some different practices to just get some insight into the medical practice. Also, I continued working in KEM as a research officer. My job that time was to get clinical trials to KEM hospital and research protocols. That time, India was much behind, and that time it was an emerging industry. So I
Hmm.
participated in multiple clinical trials in KEM itself. Once I decided to go back to Nasik, I started my own clinic, but I brought the clinical practice research trial experience to Nasik also. And with the same contact, I started clinical research in Nasik also. I was the first person to set up ethics committee and everything clinical research environment in Nasik. And in general, that was quite a big actually help for me because it gives a lot of economic stability also. It gives you exposure to international people also because in investigator meetings, you keep on meeting the world-class leaders and all. So the clinical trials were very, very fulfilling economically in the beginning. So I did not have to worry too much about the practice. Being the first endo, the awareness was very, very bad in the beginning. People did not know what is endocrinology, why it is necessary. In fact, I met one physician in Nasik that time. He said that I have a glucometer for last 2 years or 3 years. Why endocrinologist needed? That was the level of understanding of people. But then, of course, with a lot of public education, I conducted around 100 public speeches in, say, various clubs, Rotary, JCs, and everything. And overall, over the doctors' bodies. And in general, the awareness of endocrinology went on increasing. And gradually, the patients started pouring up. Initially, the doctors, their relatives, and later on, the real public. So in general, the practice picked up quite well. And in fact, now also there, if at all we extend the hours of the practice, we can fill the patients. But now I've started restricting after I completed the age of 50, 2 years back, basically.
Okay. So that was exciting journey, and going through clinical research really helped you. That's great to know.
Absolutely.
And as a busy endocrinologist, how do you manage your time between your OPD and procedures and personal life?
Right. What usually used to happen was I used to start the day very early in the past years. And of course, in Mumbai also the day starts at around 7:38. But here in Nasik, usually practices start a bit late. We also get some flow from the periphery. So the people have to reach the clinic. So generally we start typically by around 11 o'clock or so. And the first comes in actually keep on coming till 3 or 4 o'clock. After that, the flow goes down and evening OPDs are usually only for the Nasik people who are from the local area. Usually those numbers are smaller. So we put a heavy OPDs in the daytime in office hours, 11 to 4, 11 to 5. And the evening OPDs are much smaller, maybe 10, 12, 15 patients between say 6:30 to 8:30 or so. And 3 times a week, I work only once a day. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I only conduct the morning OPDs. So I get 3 evenings free, really speaking. And Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I do both morning and evening OPDs. I started that long, long back when I completed my 40 years of age. Otherwise, it used to be daily morning, evening OPDs, but a lot of works were pending and the stress used to accumulate for no reason. Then we took a bold decision to, forego 3 OPDs per week in the evenings. So that in 3 days a week, I get free by around 4, 5, 6 o'clock. So I get a lot of time for my health or gym or other hobbies, reading and everything, or giving time to the family also. And Sundays are, of course, mostly free. I used to go to periphery in the past times, in the past years, in the beginning, I used to go to places like Pimpalgaon and Dhulia and Sangamner and Malegaon and other things around. And I used to visit Alibag also because I used to go from Mumbai to Alibag once, one Sunday a month. But then I stopped when I became 40 years of age, of course, long back, 12 years back now. And I started finding time for my own hobbies. Now it happens so that I get a lot of time for my own personal life also, so that the practice becomes very high quality. I've got a lot of assistants also, and they're trained. We have made a lot of protocols in our practices. So there are certain things which get automated. We have got good software also for the same. And in general, that's how we keep on maintaining the flow of patients quite well. So in general, a lot of time at hands because 3 days a week, I have got half a day with me. And rest of the 3 days, I know that if I can't do some work today, I can do it tomorrow itself. Sundays are mostly free except some emergency calls and all. I don't really work on Sunday except some academic activities or maybe just now whatever we are having new learnings. And I make it a point that every year I start learning a new activity, whether it is self-taught or a structured course, I keep on doing that so that the brain keeps actually sharp and keeps on learning.
That is very thoughtful process, sir. You are following very meticulous process, and it's exciting. It's inspiring for other people also to have limited time for OPDs or have more time for yourself, because most of the doctors, they keep on working day in day out. They keep going around for many years. So you stopped your outside visits after 40 years, and alternate OPDs also stopped. That is very nice, very thoughtful. Oh, were you ever concerned about relying entirely on clinical practice for income or financial security?
What happened was actually in the beginning when I was practicing in Mumbai, the decision was taken to go back to Nasik to be with my parents and to reunite with my roots because my schooling was in Nasik. As I said, my father was a government officer, so we kept on moving in many places, but the roots are from Nasik. So he wanted to retire in Nasik. So after I finished my DM, there was a chance that in Mumbai I could get a much better kind of opportunity, much better earnings. So what happened was me and my wife took a decision that we'll give 2 years to Nasik, see whether we are doing enough or not. And I came back and my wife is an anesthetist. She also found some attachments here. Though the incomes dropped very drastically from Mumbai, in general, it started growing and we could make ends meet quite well, actually. So, in the beginning itself, it was clear that medical practice should be really sufficient for our day to day living and all. Of course, the accumulation and early retirement may not come through the clinical practice that in general. So, we need in general some second sources of income, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever it is possible, and we have to invest also from the early years. But fortunately, God was great with me, and I did not have to really think of any other source of income in the first 10 years of practice at least. Practice was sustaining us quite well. Maybe being the
That's very
first
nice.
endocrinologist helped me per se, and it was a niche market per se in general. Whereas in Mumbai, I would have got much good income in the beginning, but the trajectory would be very, very slow because I would stuck with same income range for years together. In Nasik, the income went up quite quickly. The research protocols, trials actually also
Mhm.
very helpful because in beginning of the practice, I could get a lot of boost from the clinical trials. Later on in
Yes.
2012, there was a glitch in the laws and the DCGI and other things happened, and the clinical trials came down in India. After that, we also reduced and stopped clinical trials. But before that, we could earn quite a good amount of money so that I didn't really worry about the practice. So the greed from the practice went away. I did practice for, really for fulfillment and helping patients, and that was a great moment for me. So
That's
I
great.
would suggest that everybody could actually think of clinical research as a second career in the beginning of the practices. That really gives you a good boost. And when you interact with, world-class people whose book chapters you have read while you're doing your degree, that becomes, separate kind of a charm in life. So that actually helped me quite a bit, actually.
Yes, that's great. And maybe we can have one session how to get all these clinical trials and those things for young people who are interested, or even for those people who are
I'll be
having good practice, good number of patients, but don't have experience in this field. That will
field.
be very helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What motivated you to look beyond medicine and consider exploring financial markets?
Right. The financial market, of course, I was trying to study finances for a very long time because our CAs used to tell that you doctors are very, very brilliant, but you're absolutely zero in finances. You don't understand what to do. When there are laws given by income tax that you can't pay cash more than, say, 20,000, that time 10,000, people pay cash 1 lakh to 2 lakhs. So they don't have any white income, and suddenly they buy machinery worth 25 lakhs and they do all sorts of big mistakes in the career. So I wanted to learn from the beginning. I started learning from the early days of my practice, but there was no intention of learning share market. But financial knowledge I started getting quite well. Then I studied income tax law also for some time because it was quite interesting. And it was also eye-opening that how people get caught for no reason without any really bad intention. Even if you want to be very fair in showing the income, people try to, do some small jugglery and get caught from by the income tax department. We had some examples, some senior doctors from Nasik who had actually raised that time, and that's why I really started learning about the finances. In general, once you start learning finances, you start seeing the instruments where you can make some money also. So in general, I started investing in mutual funds long back, and that paid off that time quite well because the mutual fund industry was booming from the 2005 onwards. Until 2015-16, we kept on investing in that. And later on, of course, then I started during COVID times, I started learning about the derivative markets. And in general, then I started learning. My whole focus is on learning in certain fields, because unless you're perfect in something, you really can't practice those things. So I kept on learning, and that's how I came across your course of options. And then I joined that, of course.
So you have basic tendency towards learning to understand things,
Yes,
learning to excel in those things, not just earning. That is very important thing,
yes,
because
absolutely, sir.
earning is secondary part. If you learn properly, then earning will definitely come. You learned
Definitely. Learning,
clinical research, and money came later on. So similarly,
absolutely.
everything worked out.
In fact, before doing the clinical research, I did not know how much paying it would be. We were very happy
Yes.
just to be cooperating with all the international people. And when the first check came, it was more than my monthly income that time. So it became really fascinating for us. Then, of course, we went through all the zest, but in general, I did not know that it could be that paying. We thought that, okay, it would be similar to clinical practice. Suppose in a clinical practice, my fees are say 800 rupees for seeing a patient. For a single visit of clinical trial, the sponsor would give you 5,000 rupees. So if you have say 10 patients with 10 visits, in general, it becomes a huge amount for per clinical trial. And if at all you do multiple trials at a time, it becomes a good source of income.
Yes, yes, yes. That was excellent thing. So learning is your in your blood. You keep learning every day. I think you keep learning new things every day. You said you learn every year something new, but you are learning something every day, in my view. So let's come to your entry into markets and initial phases. How did you first come across stock markets or options trading, and was there a turning point or specific movement which led to your market things?
Yeah, my wife is from Mumbai actually. Her brother is he's an engineer and architect, but somehow he took sub brokership of Sher Khan around 10 years back. And then he used to show us that this is the way I do and this is the way I earn. And he started showing us some straddle and strangle and all those things that time. So in general, the words were not new for me, but I did not really put my attention into that. I was into mutual funds quite heavily that time. And I somehow know the founder of Value Research Online, Mr. Dheeraj. And we used to interact because he had a relative who was my patient. After some time, there were two endocrine friends, very close friends of mine, who are heavily in the market. One is Dr. Amey Joshi from Mumbai. He is in Bhakti Vedant Hospital in Mira Bhayandar. And when there is one surgeon, Dr. Ritesh Agarwal. So he's an endocrine surgeon. So I kept on talking with them about my patients. And then I realized that they're heavily into markets right from the graduation days. So then I started asking where to open the account and what happens. In general, we had accounts in our saving bank accounts, ICICI and HDFC, but they said Zerodha is good. You start opening in Zerodha and see how it goes. And I started then playing certain small things in that. Then I realized it's a big ocean. I started learning about Zerodha Varsity also. But then I realized that I'm a learner, as you said, sir. But there are certain places where we have to self-learn. There are certain places we don't have to self-learn. We have to get a structured kind of a curriculum from a mentor. So then I decided that I'll look for some real understanding, and then I came across your option course. If you remember, sir, when
Yeah.
you had actually announced your option course, I was in a minute I took the decision that I would be enrolling for that because I really wanted to learn and really wanted to be really, really perfect before I jumped into the market, really speaking.
Yes, yes. And you joined my first batch, I think.
First batch, absolutely, sir.
Yes. So did you try learning on or trading on your own before joining the course? And how was the experience of trading if you tried it?
Yeah, actually, I did not do that because, as I said, that I keep on learning one new thing, and I heavily self learn many things. But there are places where we have to self-learn and where there are places where you don't have to self-learn, because that could be really devastating. I have heard the stories of people blowing their entire accounts of say 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 20 lakhs by doing some experimenting in their future and option journey. So I really refrain from that. Unless I understand everything, I really would not go for that. That's why I decided fully. And that's how actually kept a good long patience. In spite of completing the options course, I was very, very slow in starting. In fact, I started asking queries much later than other people. Other people were taking trades much earlier than me, because I really feel that even now, after revising the course 100 times, I still learn everything, every time something new. And we keep on actually making us ourselves more and more expert. So in this aspect, I would like to be very, very, having a deep knowledge and then only putting maybe smaller trades, lesser trades, but with a very good backup of fantastic knowledge. That's what I want to do.
That's great. That's great approach. And you I think you had joined the second batch also, and you had asked me
Yeah.
questions during those sessions also.
Yes, yes, yes. You allowed actually for us to attend the second batch. That was great, because in the first time, some things were actually a bouncer for me. And certain things, those look very simple now. That time, for the first time, when you hear it, becomes a trouble. That
Yes.
time, some people actually had some courses in our batch, in the first batch, and some people had quite read quite well. So the pace was slightly slow for me at places, but very fast at places. So in the second batch, everything got clarified. And after that, I started confidently taking trades.
So it was like revision.
It was a fantastic revision, sir. So it was great of you to allow us to attend the second batch. Otherwise, that doesn't happen very often. But I had taken
Yeah.
quite a good detailed amount of notes, and you had allowed us to see the footage also, the recordings also.
Recordings.
So I
Yes.
kept on recording, and that was again a great learning, because while live you go with the flow, you feel that you understood everything. But of course, when you start practicing, there are certain areas which are not clear in your mind. So those become clear with revision only. That's what I believe very firmly.
Yes. The very purpose of allowing everyone to join again was this, that first time you feel you have learnt everything, but when you practice and do actual trades, only then you understand what are the problems, and then you can ask better questions next time.
Absolutely, sir.
And as you mentioned that you wanted to learn, therefore you decided to enroll immediately in the first batch itself. But before joining first batch, did you have any doubts that how this course will be? Because it was my first course, and I think you did not know me before that.
Sir, you had some posts actually in some of the common groups we were. So in general, I understood your potential very well immediately. And like it wouldn't hurt. Basically, I had read Zero the Varsity. It's such a huge amount of knowledge with such a haphazard kind of a manner that you have to put it all together. When I realized that course duration would be around 3.5 months, I realized that you must have put a lot of efforts in that, and you would put it. Otherwise, of course, any new course, there is a chance that it may not be good or it may be good. And of course, it paid off, sir, the risk whatever I took. But your
Yeah.
posts were excellent. Sometimes people, of course, post from some other sources and it may not be their own wisdom sometimes. And we burn our fingers, but that is the way of life finally. Sometimes you get excellent
Yes,
courses.
yes.
You say that, okay, we had an experience and like, don't do that. And that's what we say.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So, were you looking at trading as a serious income source, or just out of curiosity you joined initially when you started doing it?
No, sir. Actually, I was looking at a very serious source, because in COVID times, when I started interacting with my colleagues, what happened was we are friends. We know many people from our fraternity, but in day-to-day life, we don't keep on talking with them. In COVID, what happened was every day there were 3, 4 webinars on Zoom, and this Zoom and all platforms we didn't know also before COVID, I believe. And we started
Yes.
chatting, interacting, and the friendship actually grew when we did not meet with each other. So that time there was a meeting where Ame and me were faculties and there were lectures and there were 3, 4 meetings together. And that time I realized that he's talking with other people about share market. And then I thought, asked about the incomes. Fortunately, they are very close friends and they really shared the real numbers with me. And then I realized it's a really good kind of a potential source of income. And we can do it even from any other place. Tomorrow, if I cut down my practice or I can't practice, or there are 100 competitors to me and I won't be able to sustain that kind of numbers, this would be something evergreen. The markets are there forever. That's what I understood. Our knowledge only has to grow to match that thing. So I decided to give it a proper try. And that's why I decided to join a course. Because had it been
Okay.
only for the hobby, I wouldn't have maybe joined the course. I would have tried to self-learn and take some trades and try to do something. And even if I get some small income, say 50,000, I would have been very, very happy and I would have been content. But I realized that this could be a potential big source. In fact, people could earn much more than medical practice in trading, truly speaking, if at all they kept the proper way and not in a haphazard way, basically.
Yes. So this is the exact reason why I also came into markets. I was doing my DNB in Mumbai, and as you said, Mumbai people, they are all into the markets. When I used to go to OT, or consultants were sitting in the uh, consultant's room, there was TV, all were watching business channels, and anesthetist would come inside, give a spinal, and sit on chair, keep watching their mobiles for prices moving and portfolio fluctuating. Few of my consultants, they had bigger earnings from markets as compared to their actual income from their practice. So
Oh,
I was impressed because of that. They used to make 10 times money from markets and the money from their practice was less. So it was really a turning point for me as well, going to Mumbai. So let's come to the
absolutely.
experience of options course. How was your experience learning through the options course, and was the pace and style comfortable for medical professional like you? You already have discussed few points in this.
It was I was caught up in certain things because my father had a paralytic stroke that time. That's why I could not keep pace in the beginning. But later on, when he stabilized, I started actually picking up. But as I said, I'm slightly slow learner. I take my time, but I try to become more and more and more and in the field of the knowledge. So in general, in the beginning, 2, 3 lectures, I was slightly slow, and later on then I could pick up quite well. Then I after the course I thought I've learned everything. There was certain small lacune in the knowledge. With the repeated watching of the recordings and later on attending the second batch, everything actually consolidated. I'm not saying that I got great knowledge at that time, but the working knowledge for the training was actually acquired with first and second batch attendance itself. And later on, of course, I keep on improving every day and I keep on learning from every trade. So that's a different story. But the pace is otherwise fantastic. Those who are dedicated, that would be a great kind of a course to start with. I think the option course is not there in your website right now. It is the 3D and the
Yes.
mentorship. So I don't know whether that kind of course is there or not, but that course was absolutely excellent for me, sir.
So I have kept it only as a recording now because I have more interest in technical analysis and I have developed so many tools for technical analysis. So I have kept it as a separate, only as a recorded course. And it's very humble of you saying that you are a slow learner because you have been gold medalist in so many things. You have gold medal in DNB, you have gold medal in DM, you have gold medal in MD medicine. Everywhere you had gold medal. So saying that you are a slow learner is actually very humble of you. And I would prefer everyone to be a slow learner like you so that they can get many gold medals and they can excel in markets as well. Going fast without having patience are the things which lead to uh, many disasters in the market. Having patience, having discipline is very important, which is inherent in you. So that's the reason you could make good profits. And as you said, during first two courses or first two revisions, you got good working knowledge. And actually, we make profits only when we take trades and we improve ourselves. So you have good understanding. You have been in clinical research, so you have good habit of keeping your records. You have a database of 80,000 patients, as you mentioned. So I don't know how many patients I have treated till now, but you have, you know that you have 80,000 patient database. So this is very important thing. Having patience, having discipline, keeping record, and analyzing your trades, analyzing your past. So clinical research is all that thing. You research, you do research based on patient analysis, patient's data, and make protocols for that. Similarly, you get some strategies in the course, but unless you do your own research and your own protocols are run on that on those trades, you will not be able to make profits. So that's the real reason of your profit, your clinical research and clinical experience. So which concepts
Research,
or sessions? Yes,
research
sir.
is our documentation. So I kept on
Yes,
documenting my
yes.
trade. I made a notebook in the beginning. I did not like Excel, but I made a notebook just to see what is going wrong, what is going, like where I can improve. And as I realized that, like you like technical analysis, I understood that very much actually. But what you're taught in option course, looking at only option premiums without even knowledge of technical analysis, how you can excel? And many of the times the technical analysis follows those prices. That's what I kept on observing. So I am not great at technical analysis, but of course there are simple indicators like SMA or EMA we use and we understand in general. But the option chain reading would be a great kind of a learning actually, and that could be truly, if at all somebody masters that, that would be very, very helpful in complete trading experience without even learning too many things. That's what I have felt from the teaching of you.
Yes. So there are 1000 methods of making money, and even if you learn just one or two of them and just follow that, you will be able to make good enough money for your entire lifetime. Now, which concepts or sessions in the course had the biggest impact on your trading mindset or clarity?
The historical velocity and implied volatility, you made the five quadrants, and that was one turning point because I had read other books and I kept on watching some YouTube videos and this and that. Of course, not for practice, but getting some knowledge. And I understood that you're making everything very simple for us. And that time I did not realize it was just a curriculum. We have to learn the course. But then I realized that you have synthesized maybe thousands of hours of maybe knowledge acquiring into a very condensed course. Then I realized that every point is very, very important. And that point made me realize that how much efforts you have put in the course and how great the course is. So in general, when the course was not there, I felt slightly bad for the future students. Of course, mentorship must be great, but I thought that option course is a fantastic kind of a tool what you had in the beginning. And that's how then I started giving attention to each and every small point. And every line actually meant really good sense. So that point made me realize that how condensed knowledge is there in the every slide of the options course.
So even after so much of condensation, it was around 12 to 13 weeks
13
course.
pictures. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I have seen many people conduct one or two sessions, maybe 3 or 6 hours at the most, one day, like 9 hour session, and they say, I have made you expert.
Yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
possible.
Not possible, absolutely.
Yeah. So how did the course help in removing confusion around option buying, option selling, and risk reward planning?
Yeah. So fortunately, as I said that there are places where you self-learn and there are places you go for the mentor. So I fortunately had not formed any bad concepts before I joined your course. Many of my friends had done some famous courses for doctors and they had very typical knowledge and they said, okay, this is not good, this is bad. And there were some preconditionings in their mind. I came as a clean slate actually, though I had a lot of knowledge about the terms. I did not have any positives or negatives about anything. And whatever you actually suggested, I started doing that. So it was actually quite simple for me. I had some knowledge about other courses material because the friends keep on sharing the material. Some of my friends have done 15, 20 courses, spending lakhs of rupees. They just accumulate. They join this, they join that. There are so many recordings, there are so many books, there are so many concepts, and they keep on accumulating and they don't learn everything properly. So I'm totally opposite of that. I would rather study a small portion, but I will be absolute expert in that field. That's what my concept would be. Like if I do something, I should be the best in that field. Maybe I'll do only one course or two courses, but I'll be the best. I'll extract everything from that. That was my real plan. So in general, it came quite handy because of your perfect teaching also, and my this tendency not to just go on accumulating things and pay attention to certain things half-heartedly. I put all my attention into your course at that time. So it was quite simple in general. If somebody does that really truly dedicated study of your course, I think they should excel in option trading very well, I suppose.
Yes, yes, definitely. And even for technical analysis course, what I do is we have different methods. I give at least 5 to 6 methods, but I tell everyone that these 5 to 6 methods are like teaching in MBBS where we study all the subjects, but you should go for super specialization. Stick with at the most two things, one or two things, and practice that regularly so that you become expert in that. And 6 things are
Absolutely.
given to you because you should know what are different things, what are different methods, and which one to select from. If I give
Correct.
you just one method to you, it may not be suitable for you. That's the reason I give 5 6 different methods from which you can choose.
Absolutely. Even in option course, you had given all these spreads, and I took as an experiment everything actually. Then I realized one or two, I'm more confident. I can understand the option premiums very well. Say bull call spread or any like that. I realized what I can do better, and I try to concentrate only on those things because you had covered everything. And adjustments also, you had given 7 adjustments, and then I realized that two, three
Yes,
I'm very good at, 2, 3 I don't understand that well. So I concentrate on those only. So that becomes very handy.
yes. So understanding everything and choosing, it's like a platter. You choose what you like and remove what you don't like. That is the best thing which should be done. And people who have, as you
I should
mentioned, they
mention
have
one
done
thing.
5 to 7.
Actually, yeah, yeah. I should mention one thing. The adjustments you taught were absolutely excellent. And that is why the success in the trading came, and that is how the income started coming up. Because beforehand, I did not know if at all what happens if the market goes against me, and I am very poor at technical analysis. I only use MAs and all, nothing more than that. I don't understand the tools that well as yet. Though the higher high, higher low, and lower low, those things I understand, but in general, I'm not good at all that with that. But if at all the adjustments are possible, if you're good at that, then we can fight with any condition. That's what I realized. So that's the
Yes.
real, I would say, credit to the course. And we can really make money because of the possibility of adjustments. We are fearless actually in taking the trades.
Yes. And the position size risk management.
Yeah, risk management. Absolutely, sir. The last lecture you had covered, that is one of the most important ones, I suppose. That can be done
Yes.
the first lecture
Yes.
in any course, I suppose.
Yeah, but if we do it as a first course, then I think
And just
people may not
like the
understand the
most
things.
important, why people won't
Yes.
understand the thing. In fact,
Yes.
that should be repeated every few months so that after people start trading, they should realize the position sizing is so important. So that should kept on
Yes. Yes.
getting revised so many times. That's what I feel. Yes.
Definitely. Yes. Yes. And as you said, some of your friends have taken courses, 5 7 courses. It's okay to take that kind of courses, but then after something, after a number of courses, one should understand that these are different things and now things are getting repeated, and I have to try myself and focus on a particular thing. I tell everybody in my mentorship program or even in our groups to study setup with bar replay. That will be like simulation trading. First do back testing, like just check the
Mm.
charts, check what has happened in the past, then do bar replay of those trades, because for technical analysis charts are already there and we can hide the candles and do bar replay so that it can simulate the live market analysis. And then materialize one method and go with that. So that will be helpful for your friends. If they do, if they have learned from 5 to 7 courses, they should select just one method from that, and they can go with bar replay, bar simulation, and paper trading initially, small size trading. That will help them boost their confidence. Unless they take the trades, and one setup should be traded for at least 20 trades with proper writing the things, entry, exit, stop loss, what happened in the trade. You can guide them about clinical trial of their trades. That will be helpful for them also. And what difference did the structured approach to entry, stop loss, and target make in your trading execution?
Yeah. Fortunately, I never traded haphazardly before. Some people used to do that. They were part of some Telegram or WhatsApp group. Somebody posts something, buy this, buy that, buy this call at this premium, wait till that time. My friends have even paid for some to some people just to get the tips, really speaking. And without understanding, to take such trades would be actually burning our money. That's what I felt, because the group may be run by some seventh failed person also, who's just sitting in front of computer and getting some knowledge. We never know how those people's credibility is. So I never went for that. And every trade I was very, very careful, very, very selective. In fact, first I did a very, very long straddle, very far off from the spot value, just to see what happens. I took premiums of one rupee only, just to see how it goes. And maybe like I took 10 lots in the beginning, just to see what happens. Maybe the brokerage was more than what I made, but to understand those trades, I was very, very careful in the beginning itself. I did not want to burn my money just like that. And then when once I got confidence, I started becoming slightly more aggressive in taking the trades. Of course, with position which are hedged and with position sizing.
So it is also like medical practice. Initially, we have to sit in the OPD, we have to just warm the chair, patients trickle down, and gradually, when the word of mouth spreads, people know about you, they start flowing in, and the growth happens exponentially. So, in this also, unless you practice like what you did, if you burn everything initially, you won't have any money left. So your approach was absolutely fantastic, and now I guess you will be making much more money exponentially. The spurt is just beginning. It will be like bamboo trees. Would you say the course help you build confidence and manage trades independently? You don't need any help from me.
Yeah, so the course was absolutely excellent, and there was no further reinforcement, because we become really confident after the course. And that helped me from A to Z. Everything was the course. It was nothing else I had learned. I didn't know the terms also. In fact, if you remember in the lecture, you asked me, are you understanding? I told you that time that bull call and bear put, and I am really confused about all this because I had not heard those terms at all. And it was a clean slate. And as I said, that without only I had read about zero the veracity, which was a good reading, but of course, per se, that is not going to help anybody to do anything. But in general, this was a complete course for me, and this is complete curriculum. I don't have to do anything else. For options, I don't have any other things also, except the book you had provided to me, the Trading in Volatile Markets by the Mark
Oval.
Zimmerman. Yeah, so that was another excellent book, but it was like a revision of the course again. There was nothing new per se in the book, except maybe the concepts are there in your hand and you can feel the book rather than a soft course. So that was the only difference, and it was actually complementary to each other. So I had not done any other thing, and the course that what I'm doing right now, it's only because of the course. There's no other way, really speaking. So that is a complete A to Z course for me. Nothing else actually learning. If at all I want to look for something, I go back to my notes itself, because I had taken a very detailed notes after watching it again and again, two, three times. And I have got a prepared a notebook actually. The way the book was written, similar notes actually come out, really speaking, after writing every slide.
That's great.
So
That's
I just
great.
go back. Usually my answers are questions are answered from the notes itself.
Yes. And we used to have extensive discussion as well. And there was some recording
So,
after which we had discussions.
in fact, once I had frantically asked you about range extension because I was caught in one small trade. The trade was nothing. The losses were just nothing, 2000, 5000. But I thought that if I've learned about adjustment, I'm not understanding how to do it. And you had just finished the surgery, you were going back and you were in a car, and that time you had answered. I've still got that answered recorded in my mobile. And I listen to that sometimes when I get stuck. So that time I had asked you frantically one question, but later on I realized that everything is there covered in the course. I just am not paying it enough attention. Then I really read properly, to
Yeah.
see properly, the answers are all there. But that time, that was
Yes.
the one question I asked, and you had immediately answered that. And I came out of the bad situation next day itself. Losses were nothing. I wanted desperately to adjust the thing so that I learn actually out of it.
Yes, yes, yes. So learning has to happen. Now, let's understand your results, your impact on lifestyle, and what your future plans are. You have shared that you are now making trading profits, which is equal to around one third of your clinical practice. How does that feel?
That is absolute excellent feeling, sir. And we don't feel insecure in our clinical practice if at all we have got a parallel source of income. So if someday the patients don't come or you don't achieve that kind of a income in some week or some month, you should not really get worked up. So the work-life balance, the peace of mind is absolutely essential. And to live in today's world, for money is a very important tool to keep the peace of mind. Without money, you can't be really at relaxed mind. So it's very, very important to have parallel sources of income which are stress-free. Of course, we should not be very, very stressed up while during the trading, because otherwise that would defy the entire purpose. I started trading for the peace of mind so that the dependence on the practice goes down gradually as I'm aging. I'm now 52 years old. So it shouldn't happen that tomorrow my capacity goes down, but the desperation to earn actually goes up. That shouldn't happen. So that is very well provided the purpose is fulfilled by the trading journey. And in general, maybe tomorrow I might increase the percentage by just putting more hours in the trading and maybe slightly reducing my practice down to cut down my stress levels.
Yeah. So having a good stable practice is also very important. You have primary source of income which is giving you regular income and everything is covered. And this options co trading income is your secondary income. So do you feel that primary income which is stable gives you much more confidence in taking trades because you're not worried with the losses also?
Yes, sir. That is very, very important. Either somebody should have a stable income or they should have a very big corpus out of which they are trading with some capital. Because I would really not recommend to keep trading only as a profession. Otherwise, we'll get worked up. At least I will get worked up. My peace of mind would vanish in that. So I would say that some primary income should be there so that you are not dependent on the trading income. There are drawdowns certain times, certain months are not good actually. Certain times you make some silly mistakes and then you realize later on. So it's very, very important to have either a very big corpus out of which a part with you're using for the trading, or somebody who doesn't have a corpus should have a proper primary income, percentage of which you are using for trading. That's what I would recommend, sir.
Yes, definitely. This is very important. Some people try to make money from trading. They feel that I will invest 10,000 rupees and I will make 10 CR. There are stories of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. He had invested 5,000 and made 22,000 CR. So these are all myths and it should not be followed. The proper thing is appropriate risk management. You should have proper earning source and secondary income can be very good from share markets. But if you don't have primary income source and you don't have capital and try to make everything from markets, only one in thousand or maybe one in crores will be able to do it. Remaining people will fail. It is something similar to winning a lottery. One person will win a lottery, but others will always lose the money. Has this performance given you more freedom or reduced your dependency on clinical practice? And have you reduced clinical hours after this, or are you planning to do it again in future? You have already done it.
Yeah, it does it. Definitely, it actually helps in a great way because the dependence, the clinical practice for fun is a fantastic concept because the money keeps on flowing, but we need not worry about this certain amount, how much we are making, because the trading is going to fulfill any deficit if at all we create. So the freedom remains in hand. I may or may not reduce the hours, but the choice remains in my hand. It's very important to have choice in today's world. If we don't have choice, we feel helpless, we feel bound, and the stress levels go up. So we should have a choice, and then we should choose something consciously. So if that choice is there, that is given by the trading and your course to me, really, sir. So I'm really grateful to you and the course. And of course, the trading as a journey is really taught me, and the choices are there in my hands, which gives me a lot of power. It feels me empowered. So that's a very important feeling in today's world, I believe.
Yes, yes, it is very important. I remember one incident from Nagpur. There was one nephrologist, and he was very famous nephrologist. He used to get lot of patients, and he wanted to reduce practice. So what he did was he increased his fees by 40%, and the number of patients increased by 20%. So he increased the fees furthermore. He again had more patients.
Same thing happened with me also. I did that at one time before stopping the OPD. I did increase the fees. People started coming to see why is taking so much fees. What is there exactly special with find out. That's what happened. Top three OPD market. I said it's not working out. Increasing fees is not helping.
How do you manage your trading time now during market hours with minimal screen time, or do you need to monitor it?
There are very specific points. As I said, I am a clinical research oriented person. I have taken out some very specific points. What I've seen is people start, once they start scrolling, they just keep on scrolling because screen gives a lot of dopamine to people. But I've taken out a list of 10 points, those many stocks, those many scripts, those many indices. What is the movement from yesterday to till today? And I'll see those points. I'll see the volumes. I'll go to Screener or maybe NSE website, the largest volume movers or largest gainers losers, and I'll just go come out of that. I'll make note of those points on one piece of paper and then I'll read that paper in my mind. Then there are certain things actually build up. If at all I have to go back and see, I'll again go back and see only for 10-15 minutes. I would not keep on scrolling it mindlessly because that becomes a very tiring kind of experience. And that is why actually I'm not too much into technical analysis, because I've seen some of my friends, once they start doing the analysis, they just keep on doing for 3-4 hours. Then the whole purpose of getting more time is defied. In general, I'm not a
Yes.
screen person. I don't like screens. I like the real life more actually. So I try to keep it less. So I try to keep it like before, if I'm starting at 10:30 from home and if I have to start maybe preparing at 10:25, I'll open the thing at 10 o'clock so that I don't have too much of a time. So time automatically gets limited so that I don't really waste too much screen time on that. That is my idea.
That is very important. So, I had given two books for everyone to read. One was Jesse Livermore's book, and another was Nicholas Darwah's book. And both of them had told that you have to make all the decisions before you enter the trade. And once you enter a good trade, you just have to sit tight. So, from Nicholas Darwah's example, what I have understood is he was a dancer. He used to go to trips, and he told his broker not to call him for targets or stop loss. He used to give instructions and he used to go for his trips. When he used to come back, he had handsome money from the trades which were making money. And after that, he thought that I have made such a huge amount of money just by giving orders. So if I start watching the screen, I will make further more money. He started watching the ticker. He had an office in the trader's office, in his broker's office. He had separate office. He got all the tickers and he made big losses. So he understood it's not important to keep sitting in front of the action. It's better to stay away from the action and everything will be fine if you have taken good decision before entering the trade. So this is
Absolutely.
very important, reducing the screen time, because emotions will be very high when you see, if suppose somebody has taken 10 lots and profit and losses are increasing, reducing, they will be stressed. अरे 10,000 कम हो गया, 20,000 बढ़ गया, क्या करूँ. So these kind of things happen emotionally and it's better to stay away from that. Do you feel more in control of your finances and lifestyle after building this additional skill?
Absolutely, sir. No question about it. It's like having a new kind of a profession per se. Like how in a profession we spend a lot of time in getting the degree and then practicing under somebody and then mastering. It is like that only. So it's like a profession. And fortunately, if there is no retirement to this profession, we can do from a wheelchair also. That can be done at later
Yes,
part of life. As long as our brains are active, we can definitely do this.
yes. So when we follow the rules, we can definitely do anything. What would you say to your fellow doctors or professionals who are interested in markets but they feel that they don't have time or they fear losing money?
Yeah, the losing part, losses can be part of it, but those can be minimized by hedging and position sizing and risk management per se. So losing the entire account is only because of our foolishness, and the foolishness comes because of overconfidence. So unless you learn, you don't enter the markets. And learning is very easily available now. There are so many sources. Of course, your courses are absolutely fantastic. Mentorship, I believe that it's absolutely good. So many of my friends are doing it. Right now, I'm not doing it because I'm not yet confident about the options per se, because I should be absolute master of something before I join something else. That is my philosophy. But when the structured courses are available, people should make use of that. If you're planning to earn money from the market, it should not be a do it yourself or learn yourself kind of a thing. It should be properly done as we take a degree. We are not going to learn MBBS like under a quack or ourselves. We are going to go to a medical college, secure admission, and properly structurally learn everything. So option, if at all we are going to do trading as a profession, or if we are looking for some proper income, then it has to be a serious efforts done under a guidance of a mentor. There is no question about it, sir.
Yes, yes. It's very important to learn properly in a structured manner and not to be very greedy. Start slowly, gradually go ahead as we go in our clinical practice. Now, would you like to share some of your go-to setup? What you follow in your trading? So the most frequently taken trade, like you prefer taking iron condors, which are hedged, or you like to go for naked option selling. Which is your most likely go-to setup?
Right. Iron condos are something which I use very, very frequently, and they are my favorite kind of setups. I do shift them if at all the market shifts. So that is what experience teaches us, and it need not be done. If we even if we stick to proper old adjustments, those are also enough. Sometimes I do shift them with a proper kind of understanding. In between, I had experimented with certain strategies. I used to, for example, I'll just tell you what I used to do was just to get a very big range, more than a standard straddle. I used to sell a future at the spot. Then I used to sell a put also there, buy a call maybe 50, 100 points more above. And I used to sell puts and calls much farther, 500, 10, 1000 points away. So that way we get a good income also, and the range becomes quite big. Say 2000 points for Nifty, 5000 points for Bank Nifty. I used to do that when the IV was actually high, when the premiums were higher. And that time I just used to take the trade and used to sit back. The minimum income was assured, and very, very less times I got drawdowns. But that all jugglery becomes slightly tiresome, and the condos become very simple. And then, of course, you hedge. If at all you want, you can increase position on one arm. Like rather than 1:1, I can do 1:2 if at all the markets are going in that direction. That was the only experimenting or maybe deviation I did. And some simple knowledge of technical analysis helped. In general, the trend I can understand where the market is going. If the market trend is very strong, then of course you can increase the lots on one part and reduce on the other side. That can be done. Suppose two lots are taken, if market is going up, then we can increase the sold puts actually down. That's what I could do.
Yes, understanding the markets is very important, and having ability to modify your rules as per market conditions and following the markets is very important, because markets are dynamic and one strategy will not be for lifetime. It will keep changing as market condition changes. That's all, and I wish you very happy luck, very good luck in for your future. And would you like to share something else? Anything which you want to tell?
I would just tell the fellow doctors that make use of your teachings to the complete, it should, the whole juice should be taken out of the course, because Dr. Prashant has got, ocean of knowledge, and we actually waste the course not asking too many questions. That's what I feel. Questions are so stupid. I really wonder how patiently you answer those because I might get angry if such questions come. I usually don't get angry, but some questions from us, our sides are so horrible and so stupid that, it takes a real patience to answer those questions with a calm face. And you have got such a deep knowledge, and our questions really don't go anywhere near that, because we can really do better as a student and the group, and we actually are silent in the groups. We don't do much. What your discussions are very superficial, and nobody's trying to reach to even half of your level. Try to become like your guru. That's what we say. But people are not trying to do that. That's what I have to tell everybody and myself also, that we keep on improving ourselves. That's how actually we can make proper use of your knowledge. We are wasting it right now. That's what I feel.
No, but you have acquired adequate knowledge and you are making good money. You shared your screenshot and it's amazing. So making that kind of money in a month is very nice. Maybe is it similar to your monthly income from clinical practice?
This month it was much more than clinical practice actually.
Okay. That's great. That's great. So this happens. Sometimes there are some good months where we make big amount of money, and we have to compound on that. So I would like to quote Mark Minervini here. If you know Mark Minervini, he is a technical analyst. He uses technical as well as fundamental analysis, and he is a momentum trader. And he has a record of making 300% gain every year by taking cash trades. He does not do futures options, or he did not do futures option in that. So what was his take was, uh, he used to compound. Suppose he has a particular amount, suppose he has 1 lakh dollars, and he has taken momentum trades in a month. There will be a month where he will make just 5%. There will be a time when he will make 30% also. So if he has made 30% in 1 month, he will compound on that. So he will take next month as a trade based on capital of 1.3 lakh dollars, not based on 1 lakh dollars. And this way
Mm.
his compounding used to happen. Sometimes he had 30% month, sometimes he had 5%, 10% month. So on an average, he had some 6 or 7 months with 10%, and just 2, 3 months were 30%, I guess. And ultimately had 300% gain in the year. So sometimes we get good profits in
Fantastic.
1 month, and we have to capitalize on that as well. So if there are back to back good profit months, you will be able to make bigger amounts. So that thing can be important, that thing can be useful, and the risk is not exaggerated. Means he is not taking excess risk. Suppose he was taking 2% risk in 1 lakh capital, then he is taking just similar risk 2% on 1.3 lakh capital. So if market conditions are favorable, he is making more money. Risk is same. Just capital is increasing, and he is using that capital. Okay, that was
Right.
nice talking to you, sir. It was very good speaking with you, connecting with you again, and thanks for joining me. I hope everyone will have
Thank you.
something to learn from this interview.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.